Hi, my name is Abdul Khalil, and I wanted to share Anonymous, a hacktivist group who's attacking Russia in order to defend Ukraine in the Ukrainian war. Now, as we know, Ukraine dominates the global news. Many people have come to Ukraine's assistance, including Elon Musk's assistance with Starlink. As we discussed in our previous assignment, Starlink is a satellite service that provides internet service to the military in order to retain communications in the country so that they can make their coordinated efforts against Russia. The United States, along with a lot of foreign nations, have come to the aid of Ukraine and provided a lot of weapons and financial services for Ukraine. Well, something that we've never seen in human history is a group coming to extend a cyber war against a country. So not only are we seeing a ground war, but we're also seeing a cyber war in order to undermine Russia. That group is known as Anonymous, and Anonymous is a decentralized group of activists who have come collectively to launch various cyber attacks against several governments, institutions, government agencies, and corporations. Now, the hacktivists are bombarding Russia with cyber attacks to undermine their hold in Ukraine and the war in Ukraine. Now, one of the hacks that they initiated is against a Russian television show, where they're able to capture the television broadcaster's network and broadcast the truths about the war raging in Ukraine. Anonymous was able to broadcast images of bombs exploding in Ukraine, tanks rolling down the streets, civilians, and soldiers discussing the horrors of the conflict. Because they become so important, they were actually featured in The Simpsons a few weeks ago, and I wanted to play that clip now. So that's pseudonymous, anonymous, or anonymous in the real world. They hacked the Simpsons television broadcasting. In real life, Anonymous actually hacked a television broadcaster. Now, for the purposes of this exercise, Anonymous, it is true that Anonymous stole government data from Russia. Now, for this assignment, I'm assuming that the data that was stolen were the Russian nuclear codes. Now, that has not been verified. However, for the purpose of this presentation, I'm going to assume that's what Anonymous obtained is the nuclear codes from Russia, and they threaten to use those codes if the war is not ended. Now, that that presents a couple of ethical issues. Now, the first ethical issue that I wanted to discuss with you is the AMC Code Ethics 2.8. Now, that rule is accessing computing and communication resources only when authorized or when compelled by public good. Now, obviously, Anonymous did not have authorization to obtain the broadcaster's broadcasting television show. They didn't have authorization to do that, but they were compelled by public good to prevent Russia's propaganda from continuing to happen. Now, under this AMC rule, Anonymous did this hack is ethical because they are continuing the public good of informing the Russians, of civilians, of what is going on in Ukraine. Because the information is getting out, they can then make their own decision about whether they support the war or they don't support the war. This is an exceptional circumstance because of what's going on in Ukraine. They want to disrupt and inhibit the functions of the systems in order to get the information out. Now, the next AMC ethic code that I wanted to go over is Rule 3.1, to ensure that the public good is the central concern during all professional computing. Now, this is important because we should always be concerned with the public good. This should be an explicit consideration when evaluating the tasks associated with research or any hacks. If Anonymous is threatening to use the nuclear codes against Russia, not only does that endanger the world, that endangers every Ukrainian and every civilian. So they're actually undermining what they're trying to accomplish. And so this would be unethical under Rule 3.1 because it actually threatens everyone and it's no longer for the public good if they have those nuclear codes because it threatens everyone. And so this would be an example of unethical behavior. Now, in conclusion, the hack of Russian television network is ethical, but the hack of the nuclear codes is unethical. So even though it's a noble cause of hacking Ukraine, the balancing of threatening every life of the human being around the world is unethical. I prefer Anonymous stick to spreading the truth and undermining Russia's military campaign, but civilian lives should never be threatened. Thank you.